Well, good morning. Another unsolicited video from Teacher Terry, and I want to talk about these new interview things. Well, as China destroyed the student base and put thousands, hundreds of thousands of teachers out of work, and they got used to sitting on their butt with this easy money coming in, whether they were qualified or not, they've all flooded the market now. And where did they have to go? Well, it didn't affect the adult online teaching industry, so they're flooding the adult. You know, this is something I don't understand, is how can what I call children, 20s, that never been married, never really had a job, never had career changes, have never raised children, have never been in business very long, how are they being hired in the adult teaching industry when they have no life experiences to even relate to their students? Okay, I'll stop on that right there because I don't think they need to be there. I think they need to be getting out doing some work, trying to find something a little bit different. But that aside, when you do interviews now, one thing it says, send us a self-created video. Be sure that it's under 1 minute. We want it background to be such and such. We want this. People, they've taken the person-to-person out of it because they don't have time to interview. Oh, we had to have the time to do 25-minute student lesson, then 5-minute break, go take a pee-pee, sit down, hello to the next student. They wanted to work us like a slave. They wanted to work us like a dog. Now, maybe they have a 9 to 9-6 or did have that program, but it's just as stressful on us. But now what they've done is, we'll take your video and we'll review it and we'll get back to you in 3 business days. Let me ask you this. If you're getting hundreds of videos, you're still sitting down watching hundreds of hours of videos. What is 100 minutes? That's over an hour. And let's say 2 hours, maybe 3, because you're going to take breaks in through there. Who's looking at these videos? It's just their way of saying the very first deal. They look at it. They say, yeah, he looks the part. He doesn't look the part. No, click, next. They're making snap decisions and judgments off of 1-minute videos, and it's kind of like, for me, bullshit. There's no person-to-person interaction. Nobody likes talking to a machine. How do you use your voice? How do you impress a machine? How do you impress a robot? It's all yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, binary. There's no human emotion or feeling involved in the process. It's just their way of screening out without giving any reason and picking the ones they're looking for. And you've seen my other videos what they're looking for. Qualifications don't mean a thing in the online business as long as you can entertain, maintain attendance, and keep the client paying. We have no test. We have no way to gauge whether or not our students are learning. There's no way they can say you're a productive instructor or not. And they have these mundane rules. You get 2 bad reviews out of 1,000, you lose your job. See? Companies today are using the AI as an excuse. This is why we need to get rid of these AI programs. A lot of people, a lot of companies are going to automatic industries. I call that, artificial intelligence. But it's doing away with the human factor. It's doing away with human jobs. It's doing away with you as humanity. What good is the working people when we're already hungry, starving, needing work, and the companies are wanting to invest billions of dollars in technology when they could invest millions in labor cost. You know, we need to take care of humanity. These artificial intelligence can't gauge a person, and it's very difficult. Do you know the last 3 interviews that I had required the AI program, the recording? It did. I recorded 5 or 6 times a video and would delete it, and finally I just picked one. Now, do I feel confident? No. I did one for, I'm trying to think what company it was. I can't remember now, and it's automatic. You probably heard. I don't know. It wasn't. I can't remember. You sent in all your stuff, and then you had to do this questionnaire, like 5 questions. You know, this is your situation. How would you do this? And you have to sit there and answer it. Well, a person could have done that. But the problem with it was you couldn't understand, because the audio on their part that gave all of the instructions, you couldn't hear it. It was muted. You couldn't hear what we're supposed to do. Automatic setup for failure. The very last one was a real strange one, and they print the question, the thing up at the top, but it was so ambiguous you didn't really know which way to go with it. You were set up to fail. Then a lot of other people, they're asking you to do things like, let's see, do I have any right here? Well, okay, here's one. Well, here's 2. They're expecting to do all this, da-da-da-da-da-da, dog and pony show, da-da-da-da-da-da, but the kids market's killed. There are no jobs for teaching kids in China, and I'm not applying to teach children. I'm applying to teach adults. Do I have props? Yeah. Do I have flashcards? Man, I got a whole shelf full. I taught kindergarten for years, taught elementary school for years. I got 40 years experience. And I'm talking to a machine, doing recordings. If you don't like doing recordings, hit the like button on this one. Seriously. Share these videos. I want you to share these videos. Let people know what's going on. I'm not getting a lot of views on some of these videos, which, you know, that's up to you. I mean, that doesn't really bother me. But I've got a lot of valuable information on these things. We need to start looking at the situation in very different, clear, non-fogged eyes. Online teaching right now is not the way to go. And any company that's asking you to do AI interviews, and they're lazy that they're not even going to put a real person there to interview you, they're not worth your time. They're screening you automatically. Now, the only other company that I've done a video before is on Protostar, and they had this one lady there. She had 2 names. One was ABC, and I know one of them that she used was Mary Bishop. But be very careful too, because some of these teachers were teaching for another company and hiring their friends to come to work for this other company. That's what she did. I had another little girl named Mary that the second time I applied, I went all the way to the onboarding, and they switched and put me with this Bishop again, who was at the very first interview I did that knocked me right out of it. And sure enough, she knocked me out of that job, and I was at the onboarding stage. but she hired a girl that I knew that was in her 20s, pretty, wasn't qualified. But you see, that's how that system works. The online business is corrupt. The online teaching industry is totally corrupt right now. There is no justice. There is no compassion. They have impossible rules to meet. And, oh, you'll get those that seem to be doing great, but they're the chosen ones. They're the ones that are really being coddled. So, these are some things that you need to worry about. Really is. Anyway, the AI, again, if you got AI, don't worry about it. It's just a setup. We want human reactions. We want human reactions.